last time that we spoke was back in August, I believe, and since then many things have happened. I got married a few weeks after we spoke, and then on the eve of November, our son Aiden was born. We've been busy getting to know him ever since, enjoying every single moment that we got to spend with him, trying to pause and maybe even stop time for a little while so we could capture and imprint these moments in our minds forever. I still cannot believe how quickly these 4 months of maternity leave went by. And even though I wasn't supposed to work on anything, it's very often easier said than done. So when the muse comes to knock at my door, I rarely refuse her and instead welcome her with my arms wide open. So during this time away, I've been working on a few new things that you were able to see here. And I will talk a little bit more in detail about a few of them later on, and save others for later in the year. This month's video is sponsored by Craftsy. If you're not familiar with Craftsy, it's an online platform just for us, the makers. So if you're already a knitter, a crocheter, a sewer, a quilter, or if you're dreaming of becoming skilled with these techniques one day, Craftsy is the platform for you. There's more than 2,000 videos available in more than 20 creative categories to get you started. Videos are step-by-step tutorials that you can follow whenever you want. That means that you can easily pause and get back to them whenever you have more time. It's perfect if you're a visual learner like me. I certainly don't know everything about knitting and probably never will, but with the help of Craftsy classes, there's a few learn to do things on my knitting bucket list that I'm finally going to be able to cross. I've now learned how to do inversion round, but I still have no idea how to do inversion flat, so that's what's next for me. But there's also a class on Portuguese knitting that I want to take, and also a class on speed knitting with combined continental. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. Ever since my now husband and I started dating 12 or 13 years ago, I don't even remember, we've had this dream of one day growing our own fruits and vegetables. And it's been a long road for sure, from China to France, then to the Baltics, and back to France again. We've finally settled down, and our dream of growing is stronger than ever. So as we figuratively started to putting roots down, we've also put our hands in the ground and planted something like 30 fruit trees. Lemons, persimmons, apples, pears, peaches, plums, figs, berries, anything that we could get our hands on, we planted. We then worked on getting our greenhouse and raised beds ready for all the veggies that we wanted to grow. Edgar is focusing on the food, and I'm taking care of all the ornamentals that will hopefully help to not only beautify our place but also provide plenty of food for the declining population of bees. We want our place to be a small heaven, not only for us but for the wildlife that lives with us. And since this has been a lifelong dream of mine, much time is now dedicated to the garden, as there's always something that needs to be taken care of. So in addition to all the knitting that I do and share with you, I'm also going to incorporate some garden segments from now on, so you'll be able to come along this journey with me. And I really hope that that's something that you'll find interesting. It's the starting that is probably the most difficult, I think. It's been a while. It's been quite a few months since we last chatted, and I was not really looking forward to recording that specific segment of the video because it's always so awkward to, sit down after so long and just get started, get back in the flow of things. So yeah, we're gonna get this done. And yeah, I mentioned last time that I would definitely be recording more selling videos, but from time to time when there's a lot of things that I have to show you, there's things that I need to explain, that I need to sit down and chat with you. So today is one of these videos because a lot of things have happened since August, as you can imagine. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I got married at the very beginning of September, and then I gave birth at the very end of October. So it's been a very busy couple of months, and now my husband just went outside for a short moment with my son, so I can sit down and record and spend a little bit of time with you. So yeah, you've seen at the beginning of the video that there's probably like a lot of new things that I haven't shown you before, and those are the things that I have been working on the past couple of months. And I'm not going to mention all of those things right now because otherwise this video would be extremely long, and I talk in details about all of these, all of the process, the progress, the work in progress, and the process behind the creation of these patterns on my Patreon. So that's the reason why I'm not going to repeat everything here. But yeah, whenever those patterns are going to be ready to be published, I'm going to walk you through in details a little bit more. As of today, there's a couple of patterns that came out recently and not so recently, but since I was on maternity leave, I haven't had a chance to show you everything. So yeah, make yourself comfortable, grab a cup of something delicious. It's the beginning-ish of spring here. Today is the 9th of March, and we've had the most horrible spring and winter, if you will, with weather that was not really cool, but it's been raining non-stop. And today is the first day with a little bit of sun. So yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be done around the house and in the garden because, as I have mentioned earlier as well, I'm gonna try to incorporate more homesteady-ish / garden things in these videos because it's a topic that is very, very dear to my heart. It's something that we've been working towards for so many years, and I want to bring you along on this journey and yeah, just show you what we're doing when, I'm not knitting or taking care of little ones. So I hope that this is going to be inspiring for you as well. It's a huge part of my life, and yeah, it's a dream come true. So I want to share bits of that happiness with you. So in my last video, we were at the beginning of autumn, and I believe that I was working on these two designs which have now been released. So I'm gonna talk about the first one, and you've seen quite a bit of footage from me working on this, and those are the Runa socks. They are knit in beautiful yarn from Wool & Twine, who's a natural dyer based in Germany, and she uses local fibers, non-superwash, no nylon, locally produced farm yarn, and then jewel naturally dies over that. So it's very precious. It's everything that I love. And when Jewel reached out at the beginning of 2023 for that design collaboration, I couldn't have been more happy. And I worked for a few months on that design because it was a lot of back and forth, making sure that every single stitch was positioned the right way. So a lot of swatching happened, and yeah, just like figuring out gauge, tension, fit, all of that jazz. So yeah, they're knit in, I will have to include a little note because I'm not sure of the base that I have used. It's been quite a few months, but it's a fingering weight yarn that tends, yeah, like a heavy fingering weight. And they're knit top down, and they feature a little whimsical, whimsy colorwork section on the cuff, and simple stockinette for the rest of the sock. It features a heel flap, and yeah, there's nothing really complicated about them apart from, you know, color working around. And there's a little bit of embroidery that is added at the very end, and the pattern that I have linked down below with a coupon code if you want to grab a copy has video tutorials that walk you through the steps for creating the little stars that are featured on the sock, and I'm gonna show you more closely. So this is out already, and it could be one of my favorite design to date. I have a few that have a very special place in my heart, and these definitely are yeah, some of my favorite things that I've ever made. And I'm actually gonna keep them on my desk so I can hang them over my computer, so I can always take a little peek and have that as inspiration for future work. The next thing that is available today, it feels crazy because it's as if I'm just, you know, creating, I'm just dropping patterns like one after the other, but these have been in the work for, I don't want to say years, but quite a few months. So yeah, I rested during my maternity leave. That's where I haven't been like working like crazy and taking care of a newborn. This was pretty much done before Aiden was born, and the socks were done already. So this is a design that came out on Friday, and that was supposed to come out last autumn, but I was too heavy to take pictures in my little cropped sweater without looking too ridiculous. So I decided to wait until my tummy was not that big anymore in order to go outside and take a few pictures, which was a challenge of its own because the weather once again was just terrible. But this is a new yoke sweater that is inspired by a very specific scene in The Lord of the Rings, which is one of my all-time favorite trilogy movies to watch that I binge watch a couple of times a year. I don't think that I've watched them last year though, because life was absolutely crazy, but usually I watch them, I would say, twice a year, extended version. And there's just new things every time that I did not notice before. And the last time that I watched, I got inspired by a scene that I had seen a million of times, but I don't know why it clicked a different way that time around, and I had to sit down and I had to stop the video and get my notebook and start sketching for the idea. And very shortly after I started swatching, and the design really came to be so organically. Sometimes, this is what I said for the Runa socks, it took me so long to figure out exactly how I wanted the design to look, but for this design it just like poured out of me. There was very little change that happened between the first idea that I had and how it turned out to be. So yeah, it's a very simple color work jumper with minimal color work. The yoke is really not busy at all, and I wanted to play with like a darker contrast or a darker background and a very lighter contrast and minimal color work to kind of mimic the light that is shown in that scene. Yeah, it's all about shadows and light, and yeah, I think that the yarn, the colorway of the contrasting yarn really allowed that to happen. I've used Plotulopi, which is my favorite, in the colorway 1038 for the contrast. Is my favorite colorway of them. It's a beige, it's a warm beige with flexes of brown. It is just perfect. If I would listen to myself, I would probably only have like a billion like jumpers and cardigans knit in that specific colorway to match everything that I wear. I just love it so much. And the foreground color, let me see my little ship cardigan here. That's colorway, I think, wait, 003 or 1030, I think, yeah. Colorway 1030 for the background. And it's another favorite for sure. It's multi, I don't know, there's just so much depth in those neutral undyed colorways. I think this is what makes me so excited, so in love with Plotulopi yarn. It's the richness of those undyed colorways, because I very rarely use the dyed ones apart from the Wildwood colorway. This just amazes me that those colors are natural. They're blended together from different fleeces in order to create that specific colorway, and they're just perfectly perfect. So sorry for blabbing about my love of Plotulopi, but it's just, it really never gets old. I started stashing a lot of Plotulopi. I have like a full box of it just ready for whenever a design sparks and I want to use the yarn. But yeah, if you've never tried Plotulopi and you're not too picky about, you know, the rusticity of the yarn, I would say definitely go ahead and give it a try. It's my favorite unspun yarn because it does not pill. It might pill very randomly after wearing it like for 5 years, but the pills that you might get are very tiny and very easy to remove, and this almost doesn't need to get washed. It's magnificent. So anyways, Through Shadows, I don't even think that I have mentioned the name of the sweater, but it's called Through Shadows, and yeah, it's available in 13 different sizes, so there's a little bit of everything for everyone, I hope. The pattern is out, and I'm once again going to provide a link in the description down below with a coupon code that you can use if you want to grab a copy of the pattern as well. Now, for some of the things that are not published yet, but that you've seen footage of. This is a design that was not supposed to be created during the time that I was away, because I really wanted to work on creating garments for my children, and not have to spend too much brain power on a design when I was supposed to relax and sleep and all that. But sometimes it is really hard to say no to an idea, because I might write it down in a notebook with the inspiration and a little sketch of the idea, but if I don't start the project right away, I might, get another idea and then want to guest on that idea instead, and the first idea might never end up being. So that's the reason why I try my best to cast on or to start working on that idea right away. And this is what works the best for me. So I worked on this sweet little thing when I was away, and there's actually another one. There's two of them. One is not finished, and I waited to finish it, and I waited to record some footage before finishing it, or I needed to record footage while finishing it. Does it make sense? So yeah, I'm gonna try to hopefully finish it today. You might even see me finishing it now, which would be amazing. That's a little bear, knitted bear. And this is very, very special because I created a similar bear for Iris before she was born, when we used to live in Riga. And the bear that I had made her was not knitted. It was made out of a second-hand skirt that I had thrifted. And yeah, I just cut it out because the fabric was very beautiful. So I cut out the skirt and sewed by hand the little bear, and spent so many evenings embroidering the whole thing. And she carried it around for 3 years. And one day she lost a few items, and the bear was one of the things that she lost that day. And it was very, very special to her, because even now that she's almost 5, she's still talks about the bear. So I know that I'm never going to be able to replace the first bear that she had, but I really wanted her to have a replacement, and for Aiden to have a little bear as well. So that's the reason why I thought that I could actually make a knitted version of that instead. So this is my very first version, and it's very simple, but the construction of that was kind of a very challenging puzzle, but in a very good way. It challenged me in many ways because I had to figure out the construction techniques that I could use in order to recreate the silhouette that I was looking for. So I started with a Judy's Magic Cast On for the little feet, and then if you look at the face closely, you're gonna see that there's no colorwork in the back. So in order for the face to happen and not to have floats carried on the inside of the work, I needed to do intarsia in the round. So that was a completely new to me technique that I had to learn, and that was very challenging at first, but the more you do it, the more you understand how it works, and the better you get. So that was a lot of fun in the end, and now I can do it without any problem whatsoever. But yeah, it can be tough at first, especially tensioning and kind of understanding what the next step is going to be. So I sat down one afternoon and recorded I think there's 2 video tutorials for that. There's 3 video tutorials for that bear, but two tutorials specific for intarsia in the round. So intarsia in the round, and then intarsia in the round decreases for the little top of the head. It's very simple, really. It's just you just need practice if that's a technique that is new to you, but I think that's the case for everything in life in general. And then for the little ears, I did some German short row shaping. I closed the top with Kitchener stitch, and then there's a little hole in here that is left open until the very end, so you can stuff your bear and then you close the gap. So that's it. It's a very cozy little friend. On that one I did some extra double stitch? It's not double stitch, it's duplicate stitch in here, but I did not include that in the pattern because I'm not 100% sure that that's what I want to keep. So, and now that I made a contrasting bear, I kind of prefer it even more simple. So yeah, little bear. The pattern has been sent to tech editing, so I'm gonna start test knitting soon, and hopefully you're gonna be able to get the pattern even sooner once it's gonna be test knitted. And these are so addictive to make because there's no moment when you're bored knitting this. There's always like a new technique that comes, and there's always something new happening. Very little stuck in around, and yeah, once you're done with one, you kind of want to redo intarsia in the round, so you cast on another one, you try a different yarn, and you end up with a full bear family. So I'm also very tempted to knit a third one, and that third one I want to put it in the wash to felt it completely, just to see how it's going to look like. So I'm very tempted to do that. And Iris wants a pink one as well, and I have yarn for that, so watch me out. Bear number one is knit in Roma Garn Phenol, which is a 100% Norwegian yarn. I 2000% recommend this yarn. Maybe not for children though, because Iris told me yesterday that this one is scratchy, but she tried Bear number 2, which is knit out of Retrosaria Vovo, and this one she really likes. It is buttery soft. So yeah, I'm gonna have to make another one in this yarn that comes in a large range of colors. There's a magenta pink / raspberry pink that I have somewhere here, but pink is an option. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to my knitting and then do more gardening work. So talk to you soon.